From the national capital. This is a story that we've been tracking for the last couple of days. There were arrests in the last week, and in the last week, a few terror suspects have been picked up. And it appears that these terror suspects picked up in the national capital, two of them were tasked to kill right-wing leaders, Hindu leaders of different groups. Let's get you the details of what we know so far. Today, Republic TV has picked up more details of how Pakistan hired these two terror suspects or elements in Pakistan belonging to the Lashkar-e-Toiba, and groups like the ISI were directly involved in this plot. And these are exclusive details that we picked up. They were tasked to target Hindu leaders. Shiv Sena, Bajrang Dal leaders were on their radar. They were tasked to kill between 27th and the 31st of January. That's how specific this plot was, is what we understand from our sources in the police. They were given huge amounts of money to do that. 2 crore in 3 installments. 5 lakhs already paid via Hawala channels. These terror suspects were paid in installments. In the second and third installments, they were supposed to be paid about 50 lakhs and 1.5 crore. So that's 2 crore in all. Let me go across straight to Piyush Ori, who's joining us with the details. We understand, Piyush, that targets were recce'd. Targets were chosen in both Delhi and Punjab.
But targets that were recce'd by these two terror suspects, and what we have also been told is that it is possible that it is that only these two may not be involved. There may be some associates also who may be helping them. Now their role and who were these associates, those are also being probed. But yes, some very chilling details are being coming forward, in which we are coming to know that how Pakistan-based operators were trying to give money to these two terror suspects through a Hawala route, which was being channeled through Gulf and Middle Eastern countries. Now, the entire channelizing of this route is being probed by the police authorities. But again, as I mentioned, that this is very chilling detail, and you can mention about how sinister the entire plot may have been, because there were more than 2 crore rupees which was to be paid to them on the execution of the targets, and rupees 5 lakhs was already paid to them in installment as a token money. Back to the studio.
Yes, and who do we know who the targets were? Because what we also know is that one person was killed, and we know he was a 21-year-old, and that he was picked up for his identity for being a Hindu, is what we are hearing from the police. The police went on record. You spoke to the police yesterday. What did they tell you about the targets? Who were the targets? Were any names chosen? Do we have details of even the 21-year-old who was killed and who was beheaded, video shot? Do we have details of any of the names? Piyush?
So two major questions you've raised, Niranjan. First, about this unfortunate person, who lost his life. Now, what we have been told is that the identity of this person is still to be ascertained. But yes, what we do know is that he was killed because of his religion. In fact, the sources in the Delhi police have also told us that because there was a tattoo of trident on his forearm, it was because of that they identified that this person, even though he was a vagabond, was a Hindu, and thereby he was killed. Now, the second question and the most pertinent question which you have raised is that who were the targets? Now, this is not being told to us for very sensitive reasons by the Delhi police authorities, because they feel that it is going to really create panic. However, they do mention, they have confirmed it now on record as well, that there were certain right-wing leaders that were the target by these terrorist suspects. The last point which I would like to raise over here is, Niranjan, that even though we are specifying more on the ISI-based operators in Pakistan, what is even more worrying is that there is also involvement of Khalistani outfits and dreaded gangsters that are involved in narco-terror analysis. And in this, I would specifically like to mention about the role of Davinder Bambiha gang and Patial gang. For long, we have been focusing only on the nexus of Lawrence Bishnoi gang and the Goldie Barar gang, the role of which is being investigated by the NIA. But now it is also important that we shift our focus to also the sinister activities that are being carried by the Davinder Bambiha gang and the Lucky Patial gang, which is now being assisted by the ISI. So yes, challenging times ahead for the Delhi police, challenging times ahead for the investigating agencies, and challenging times ahead also for our security agencies to make sure that the national security of our country is preserved. Back to you in the studio.
Yes, thank you for joining us with those inputs, Piyush. Getting the inputs. For the longest time, people were in denial. Many people, in fact, even yesterday when we asked some questions on this plot, they asked if this theory, they called it a theory of the Delhi police, and if that theory could be believed, that Hindu leaders or right-wing leaders were actually on the terror radar of Pakistan. We'll leave it at that for now. Piyush, thank you for joining us with the details.